What's up, everybody? It's at one Marcus Flowers, aka Flo, aka Call Me What You Want. Just don't call me lazy. You are tuned into the 26 and Glencoe Media Network. Thank you for watching, listening. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe on our all podcast platforms. Make sure you are subscribing on our YouTube page. We have a bunch of content coming out, so stay tuned. Peace.
What's going on, everybody? It is your boy at one Marcus Flowers, aka Flo, aka Call Me What You Want, Just Don't Call Me Lazy. And we are here tonight. I am here tonight to review the latest Netflix special from comedian Aziz Ansari, and it is entitled Right Now. Let me just read the synopsis. Aziz Ansari shares deep personal insights and hilarious takes on wokeness, family, and the social climate. Now, before I really get into this, Aziz did what all social media entrepreneurs tell their followers to do, which is put your head down and do the work. The results will come. And that's exactly what Aziz did after his sexual misconduct scandal. That is what he called it. I am calling it sexual assault. I know that is a strong term, but it is what it is. The lady said it was sexual assault. Aziz said it was sexual misconduct. And this further, I don't know if you've been listening to the Super Flow Bros podcast over the past, since we started, basically, this further proves my point that accountability is not held for any party. Just lay low and you'll be all right. And that's exactly what Aziz did. He basically laid low. He didn't say anything. He didn't talk about anything. He didn't really respond to anything. But what he did was he kept his head down. He went on tour. He created content, and he had this special to show for it. And Right Now is basically a big hour-long joke that is, I know you are, what I know I am. I know you are, but what am I? And that's basically what Aziz did. He's like, hey, I did this shitty thing, but I'm not the only person who did this shitty thing. What about, I know what I did was bad, but look at R. Kelly, look at Michael Jackson, look at Osama bin Laden. And it's just like, I get what he was trying to do, but on a larger scale, it just feel like he was airing his grievances with the world without taking accountability. And he started his first... he started the special off by saying, by actually addressing the sexual assault, the sexual misconduct, and he said, because of this, I'm in a better place. I hope the person who was involved is in a better place right now. But the one word that I was looking that he would say that he didn't say, he never said the word sorry. He talked about how the scandal almost ruined his life. Well, clearly it didn't, because he has a Netflix special. He also talked about how, and this was towards the end, he talked about how scared he was that his whole career could go away because of one night of pleasure. And it's just like, I get where he was coming from, but still at the same time, he didn't hold himself accountable for his actions, and that's really the biggest issue I have with this special and other high profile individuals who are like Aziz, who are in similar situations, just thinking about everything they could have lost without actually taking into account of what their victims are feeling or how their victim's life has changed with them coming out. And that's just something I think that he needed to take into account. The jokes, it was on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it about, I say a 6.5 or 6.57, just because Aziz Ansari is actually, I know it sounds like I'm just like dogging him out, but Aziz Ansari is actually one of my favorite comics. He actually was, after like Chappelle and Hart, he actually was, he was the first Indian comic that I really got into, and he was really the first comic that really got me into the stand-up arena to actually look at stand-up, such as like Andrew Schultz and Mike Epps and everything. And so Aziz is actually one of my favorite comics, but I just felt like the jokes were too predictable, and it was too much of Aziz trying to combat everything that he's been through throughout the past year, and saying, "Hey, I know I did this bad thing, but what about these people? And you're bad as well." And another point where that one of the things that I do agree with Aziz on with this Right Now special is he didn't necessarily say that the world is too PC right now, but his jokes made it seem that the world was too PC right now. He didn't come out and say, "Hey, you guys are snowflakes, you guys are all soft." He said, "Hey, I'm going to show you guys in an hour just how soft the world has gotten and how soft the United States has gotten during these times." And he mentioned how, which I've brought up numerous times, how The Office couldn't be run during this time, how certain scenes from Parks and Recreation couldn't be run during these times. And it's just like, I get where he was coming from, but it just felt very combative. And when you watch it, you don't get that Aziz is trying to be combative, but the way he set out about putting out his content, it was like combative. He's like, "Okay, this is how I did it. Yeah, I know this is what I did, but that," and the other thing is, he never said he was wrong for his actions, and that really kind of bothered me as well, just because when you do something wrong, you have to be held accountable. You can't just say, "Yeah, that was a wild night. I hope that person's in a better place now." He basically made it seem like, "I hope the person is in a better place now for potentially ruining my life." And like, I get where he was coming from, but it just felt like weirdly impersonal to me, if that is impersonal world. But it was just it wasn't the intimacy that you typically expect from an Aziz Ansari special. And it's kind of weird because Aziz was trying to be very intimate. He involved the audience, which is he's done that in his past specials, but he really tried to involve the audience in this last one. He talked about how his jokes about his cousin turned him into like a great guy, and how it got him like internships, and how like those jokes he said about his cousin back in the day couldn't fly right now. He also talked about how this was very personal to him, how he went back to India with his girlfriend and he visited his grandmother who has Alzheimer's disease, and dealing with that. And that's also and that's something that that's something I've had to deal with in my life, just like having a family member with Alzheimer's and having to just deal with that situation. So I completely understood where he was coming from. But he went into like this, sorry, I'm at a loss of words, but he tried to be intimate, but he still came off like, "I don't give a fuck really, but I'm gonna be like super intimate. I'm gonna change my voice so that you really feel me, you really feel where I'm coming from." And I get, and maybe this is a Spike Jonze movie, and so I get where he was trying to come from. Just for me as an audience member, maybe my viewing perspective was skewed because I watched it off of my phone and then I later finished it on the tablet. But it just felt like he wasn't genuine in his approach. Even with the story of his grandmother, he was trying to hit an emotional chord for the audience. And maybe it hit for others, but just for me, it did not hit. Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know where Aziz would go from here, just because it wasn't a bad special at all. I know it sounds like I was very down on it, just because I expected when it comes to Aziz, I was expecting more of like the flair and the flash and like, hey, this is what I did wrong. And him actually, because he comes off as this everyday guy, as this workers man, as this hey, I'm just Joe Blow trying to make it in life. But he didn't come off that way. He came off like he's past which he is. He's past the area where he can truly relate to people, and that's truly where he lost me. Just because it seemed too inauthentic to me. It seemed too just like the way he approached the whole situation. It just seemed like he didn't really care, because he did what you're supposed to do when you're a celebrity and you get into situations like that. Shut up, do the work, and come back better. And with Aziz, it just seemed like he did not come back better at all. But yeah, that's about it. That's all I wanted to say. Just had this on my mind. Make sure you are checking out the content that we dropped on 26 and Glencoe Media Network. We bought some new audio equipment. Check that out on YouTube. Check out the latest Metro Meta. He's talking about the superheroes of today. We dropped we dropped the Pokemon reaction trailer, so check that out as well. Make sure you're following me on all social media platforms at @1MarcusFlowers on all social media platforms. Check out Morgan at MetroMeta26. Follow us on Twitter at 26andG. Follow us on Instagram at 26 and Glencoe. Follow us on Facebook, 26 and Glencoe Media Network, and make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube page and on our platforms and on our audio platforms at 26 and Glencoe Media Network. And until next time, peace.
All right, everybody. Y'all know who it is, Metro Meta and at @1MarcusFlowers. And we'd like to thank you for watching and listening to our content. We'd like to thank you even more if you leave a like, a comment, subscribe. Definitely subscribe. We need that. Subscribe, subscription. Hey, don't forget to share it with all your friends and tell us how you feel. And tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that you got it from 26 and Glencoe Media Network. Keep it real.